Now, it's time for us to take our relationship discussion. We have with us Mr. Olaiwola Abiola. Now, he is a mental health counselor with a specialization in relationships and marriage counseling. Today, we're talking about something really interesting, keeping intimacy alive in a marriage. Well, my first question would probably be somewhere around the area of what caused the intimacy to die in the first place. Are you resurrecting it, or are you just trying to keep it alive? Welcome back to the show.
It's good to always be here. I'm so glad to be here once again.
Okay, so I feel like this is a conversation that maybe with people you work with, it's a delicate one to handle.
True.
How do you approach it?
Well, first of all, we must establish that we all crave intimacy.
Okay.
Psychologically, biologically, we are all emotional and relational beings.
Okay.
So every man, every woman crave intimacy. Woven the very fabric of our essence, of our being, is the desire to love and be loved. Okay. So when we break it down to relationship between a man and a woman, it's a no-brainer that you expect the thing to get going. But as life goes on, we all get busy. Children come into the picture, financial issues, economic issues, Nigerian factor. A lot of people have been cleaning off of fuel, only God knows when they will get the fuel. But so all these things do pay a lot of, have its toll on relationship. So eventually, the emotional connection, the flower in the belly, lovey-dovey begin to wane. So at that point, you need to come to a point to an understanding. Look, if you do not do anything about this, because couples don't just break apart, they first start to drift apart.
Okay.
So that's where there is need to always be intentional in keeping intimacy alive with your spouse or with your significant other. So
now, intimacy is a term that is used in many different ways.
Yeah.
Some people use it to make reference to, let's call it bedroom activities.
Yeah.
Some people use it to make reference to conversations that can only be had with a very, a truly trusted individual.
Yes.
And I feel like when it comes to conversations, there are some conversations that have probably not even happened between some couples in the first place.
Yeah.
When it comes to intimacy, do you believe it's something that is a thing of the mind or it's physical?
Okay, so the best way to answer that would lead us to talking about types of intimacy.
Okay.
Intimacy comes in different shapes and sizes. For example, what they call experiential intimacy, that deals about doing things together, living together, going through things together. And then there's also what we call emotional intimacy. Emotional intimacy is the core, is the most important, the deepest form of intimacy. That's being vulnerable with someone. Somebody can easily pour your heart. You are not going to be judged for expressing it all. And also have what they call physical intimacy. Physical intimacy is the physical touch, the cuddling, the kissing, and whatever. And there's also what we call spiritual intimacy, when both of you are connected to things that is greater than both of you. You both have a sense of purpose, a sense of a higher being that you both submit to. And there's also what we call sexual intimacy, the bedroom matters. So to many people, that's what people call intimacy, but there's more to that. So if people do not connect emotionally, for women tend towards emotional intimacy. Men tend towards physical intimacy and sexual intimacy because of our makeup. So, but whatever the case, all these different kinds of intimacy must be in proper space if your relationship must do well. If anyone, for example, if you're not doing well emotionally, and you want to demand the bedroom matters, it's definitely going to affect, because a woman will first of all need a reason and to connect with a man in the other room. But for a man, it's just about the way he feels at every point in time. So all these areas of intimacy must be in proper space and for intimacy to happen, truly happen.
Okay, so you did make reference to the differences for intimacy with regards men and women.
Yep.
Could we maybe dig deeper into what intimacy means for women and for men? Can we dig deeper?
Yeah, intimacy generally is about having this connection with someone in a way that you are not having with another person. In the context of relationship, we are talking about being emotionally vulnerable to someone. There are three major parameters to that to having intimacy. There's first of all what I call personal wholeness. There's another thing I call vulnerability and communication. So for a woman, because women by design, even though there's this the issue of women are from Venus, men are from Mars and things like that. But whether we like it or not, even though there are exceptions, women naturally are more conversational. Women love connect with you when they talk. They want you to validate what they are saying. Men are more logical in terms of 1 + 1 is equal to 2. If it's not adding up, it's not making sense, it's not buying it. But for a woman, it does not need to make sense. She just needs to feel it. And most of the time, what she's asking for is for you to validate her emotions, validate what she's feeling at every point. So a woman is more conversational, she wants to talk. Men want more of space. So when a man is going through stuff, he wants space. He wants his space just to recalibrate. A woman, when she's going through stuff, she wants to talk. She wants to be in your face. But for a man, you just need that space. So these are the differences that we have that can also affect intimacy.
Okay,
Not well
so
understood.
I'm going to touch on that space matter. I know that word space has probably caused a lot of arguments
issues, yes.
and issues in relationships. Yeah. And if you're asking for space, how can you be intimate with someone you're asking for space from?
Okay.
So how would you explain that to any of the couples?
Okay, let me take it from the place of the first ingredient of intimacy I talked about personal wholeness. You see, you can't be intimate with somebody if you're not intimate with yourself. A lot of people have a lot of unresolved issues. Childhood issues, traumatic issues, emotional issues, past relationships that have not really worked out. So they are locked up in their own world. Some are neurotic because they live in their head. They interpret whatever you say to mean different things. They have trust issues. So if you have not dealt with all those issues, it will be very, very difficult to be able to connect with somebody else. So you must first of all find personal wholeness. Now, we'll talk about the place of vulnerability. So if I'm not whole, if I have issues I'm dealing with, it will be difficult for me to be vulnerable because I feel that this person is going to take advantage of me once again. Then when we talk about space, naturally, men do better when men don't confront issues head on. They need time to walk away from it first. That's the way they're wired. Because of testosterone, the neurotransmitter and sexual hormones in the man's body different from that of a woman. But by a woman, for example, the connection between a mother and a child while breastfeeding releases oxytocin that creates a bonding effect between a mother and child. Yeah. So naturally, a woman is a feeler. She's a nurturer. She wants to connect with you to deal with issues. A man wants to move away. So now we talk about moving away. That does not mean you should now run away, not telling your wife, not communicating. That's why the third ingredient is communication. Sweetheart, I'm a bit worked up at the moment. I would appreciate if you can give me some time to just think this over. Then I'll get back to you. Honey, how are you doing? I would love to be part of what's going on, but I also understand what you're going through now. I'll give you all the time you need. So when you do that and you communicate it, it builds intimacy. So when the other party says that you understand what he or she is feeling, definitely it will give them a lot of sense of assurance that they can trust you and look as a body.
So allowing him have his space for a little while, expressing.
But he must also communicate it. Why he's doing that?
As long as he
demanding for that.
Why. It might not be about you. It's not about you. It's actually probably about him. And hey, you never know. That little bit of space might build stronger intimacy between both of you. I have to say a big thank you to you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always a delight to be here.
Thank you. It's been a fulfilling month working with you on relationships. And hopefully you'll be working with us as well to build on your relationships. Use the hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC